Hydrapple is one of those Pokemon that doesn't look particularly threatening at first. When you see it on a team preview, you're probably not thinking to yourself, oh great, this thing's about to take over the game. But then 5 turns later, it's still sitting there. It soaked up way more damage than it had any right to. And suddenly the opponent's sitting there spending more resources they didn't intend to spend trying to deal with it. And that's what actually gave us the whole idea to today's team. So when I was looking at somebody like Hydrapple, one of the first things I noticed was his natural bulk. Considering his high HP stat and his decent defense and special defensive stats, Hydrapple's a Pokemon who can theoretically sit there and take some hits. When you combine that with his ability Regenerator, Hydrapple can actually be a great pivot mon coming in and out of the battle here and there when we need it, and also getting his HP back and just becoming an overall wall that the opponent will have to deal with instead of focusing on some of the other teammates. Now, with that in mind, when I start looking at Hydrapple, I want the moveset to reflect that. He needs to be a bulky nuisance that the opponent needs to be focusing on, but can't easily take off the field. So one of the first things I was looking at was going to be Leech Seed. Leech Seed gives us great chip damage, health support back, and that can be passed on to our other Pokemon in the team. The only problem is Hydrapple can't learn Leech Seed. So because of that, when I'm looking at moves that are going to give me some health back and at least do some sort of damage, I landed on Giga Drain. Giga Drain is a great stab move for Hydrapple, and it's not only going to give some immediate damage output, but it will give more health back than Leech Seed would give, which could be crucial in a certain moment and a deciding factor between whether Hydrapple is going to live or die. The next move I was looking at was going to be Apple Acid. Apple Acid is typically one of Hydrapple's go-to moves, considering it's great damage and it provides higher damage for us in future turns. The problem is, though, Hydrapple can't learn Apple Acid. So because of that, I actually started leaning towards Syrup Bomb instead. Syrup Bomb is a great move because it will provide some damage as well as speed control, because for the next 3 turns, the opposing Pokemon will have their speed stat lowered. The last damaging move I decided to land on for Hydrapple was going to be Dragon Pulse instead of Draco Meteor for a stab move. I landed on Dragon Pulse instead because I didn't want the stat reduction in the special attack from Draco Meteor, because yes, if I can pivot out, then the stat reduction doesn't matter. But if I don't have a safe switch in, if I need to leave Hydrapple on the field, let's say, having that lowered special attack stat could be detrimental to a Giga Drain health regen, which could cause us to now lose Hydrapple when we really don't want to lose Hydrapple. So just because of that stat drop fact, I leaned more heavily into the Dragon Pulse. You could run Draco Meteor, but you have to rely on pivoting more if you're going to do that. For the last move slot, I decided to run Protect. Protect's a great move to have in double battles because not only does it give you a safe turn from damage, and in Hydrapple's case, get us a little bit of health back with the leftovers, but it also allows us to scout the opponent and stall turns when we need to stall. So Protect is overall just a great move to have on at least a couple Pokemon per team. But once I had Hydrapple locked in, the next thing I decided was, okay, I need somebody else who can pivot, but not only pivot, they need to help like Hydrapple's overall bulk, right? We don't want Hydrapple being taken out too easily. He needs to be able to soak up hits. So when I started looking at the available Pokemon in the Champions roster, I did actually land heavily on Incineroar, because Incineroar just is one of the best pivot Pokemon we have right now. With the Intimidate ability, being able to cycle that will help Hydrapple's natural bulk now, because we're lowering any physical attack stats of the opposing Pokemon. We're also going to combine that now with the first move of Parting Shot. Parting Shot's a great move for Incineroar because that's going to allow us to pivot in and off the field, which allows us to cycle our Intimidate. But not only that, it further weakens now the opposing Pokemon, which now helps Hydrapple take even more hits when we need to. The next move I was looking at was going to be Fake Out. Fake Out's just a great move to have. It can help us set up. It can help us stall out the opponent. It can help us disrupt plays. Fake Out is just a great move to have, and it's a great first turn move anytime Incineroar is going to hit the field. For his main damage stab move, I landed on Flare Blitz. Flare Blitz is just a great stab move for him. Yeah, it'll do some recoil damage, but we want something where we're going to have more damage output than less when we're looking at Incineroar, because Incineroar's main job is to just cycle Intimidates, pivot in and out of the field. So with that in mind, his move pool's limited, and we don't want to be wasting it on something weaker. I was going to look into Darkest Lariat, but for whatever reason, I decided Flare Blitz would probably fit the team just a little bit more. I may end up regretting that if I end up facing off against a lot of Basculegions or something. And the last move for Incineroar I landed on was actually Taunt. I went for Taunt because Knockoff isn't available for Incineroar in Champions, unfortunately. Knockoff would have been the ultimate go-to move, honestly, for this build, helping us take items off opposing Pokemon, but since he can't learn that in Champions, I landed on Taunt instead, because Taunt can just help us overall if we want to, let's say, deny a Trick Room. We can run Trick Room, but if we want to deny it, it's nice to have. We may want to deny a Rage Powder Pokemon, a Follow Me. Like, there's all sorts of things Taunt could help us with, so that's why I figured Taunt would be good to run currently, and we're going to see how it goes. But with those two Pokemon in mind now, when I'm looking at them both, the first thing that kind of stuck out to me was, okay, speed-wise. Speed-wise, Incineroar could run in a Tailwind mode or a Trick Room mode, realistically, right? And he sits at an 80 base, like 80 speed, so he could just realistically be okay. He's in the middle. The problem, though, is Hydrapple. Hydrapple's a really slow Pokemon because he's so bulky, so Tailwind's kind of off the table now when we want a speed mode and some sort of speed control. So looking at that now, it has to be Trick Room. So now when I start looking at all of our Trick Room setters, I actually landed on Farigiraf. Farigiraf I landed on mainly because of his ability Armor Tail. Armor Tail is going to protect us from priority, which is just very, very good to have. We don't want to be faked out or anything if we need to set up Trick Room. So having the Armor Tail is going to help us exponentially. But we're also going to equip him with the Mental Herb item. We're putting the Mental Herb on him mainly because just in case for whatever reason something happens and they're able to try to make us flinch or anything like that, the Mental Herb's going to kick off and we're still going to be able to get our Trick Room off, because that's the first move we have on Farigiraf is Trick Room. And I have Trick Room on Farigiraf for, as I said, the speed control option, as Hydrapple and Incineroar are both a little bit slower. So having somebody who can control the speed for us is crucial for this team. Now, because of that, now Farigiraf is also not somebody here to do crazy amounts of damage. He's more here to support and ensure that somebody like Incineroar can intimidate, cycle, and Hydrapple can soak up some damage. So looking at his moves, one of the other moves I'm locking in is Helping Hand. Helping Hand's a great move because it will boost the overall damage of whoever he's on the field with, so that could make Flare Blitz do that much more damage. Or it could have Hydrapple get that much more health back because we could Helping Hand a Giga Drain, for example. Another move is Protect, because like I explained with Hydrapple, Protect is just a great move for stalling and all that, and Farigiraf will greatly benefit from having a Protect on him. And then his last move, we need something that does do some damage still, because we can't be left with just a pure support Pokemon, because if he's the last guy on the field, we lose for sure. So because of that, I landed on the move Psychic. I picked Psychic because I didn't want to go with a normal stab move, as I was thinking about the ghost types. If we're dealing with a lot of ghost types, then Farigiraf just cannot do anything for us. Whereas at least with Psychic now, we can pretty much hit everything on the field decently well. Now, with those first three guys locked in, the biggest thing I'm noticing with the team when I looked at it is, okay, I'm really annoying. I got some bulk. I can control the speed when I want to, but I don't really have a closer. I don't have anybody who's going to come in and just clean up the game for me when I need to clean up the game. And right away, when I thought about that, closer came into my head. There was just one Pokemon that stuck out right away, and that's King Gambit. King Gambit is just such a great Pokemon. He's extremely overpowered. He's got great attack. He's got really good HP. His speed isn't the greatest, but hey, if we're running Trick Room with Farigiraf, we don't even have to worry about that. And then even without the Trick Room, King Gambit has access to a lot of priority. So because of that, there's the mind game aspect. And King Gambit now, when you combine him with his ability Supreme Overlord, if he comes in at the end after we've lost a Pokemon or two, King Gambit is here to just sweep. Combine that now with the item Life Orb, because like I said, King Gambit's a closer. He doesn't need to last too long. He needs to come in, hit something, take them off the field. So Life Orb chip damage on him, not the end of the world, and the boost to the damage is greatly beneficial for us. So when I'm looking at him, one of the first moves that's going to be locked in was Sucker Punch. Sucker Punch is just a great priority move to have. It creates a lot of mind games for the opponent, and also we don't have Trick Room set up. Sucker Punch could be the difference between us losing a game or winning a game because it'll allow him to strike first. The next move is Katow Cleave. Katow Cleave is just his #1 stab move, giving us great damage. And then finally, for another stab, I landed on Iron Head. Iron Head I decided on because of Fairy type Pokemon, mainly because Floette. Floette's a bit of an issue in the meta, the Mega Floette. He hits pretty hard. A lot of people like to use her. So because of that, Iron Head I figured would be a good move to have because hopefully it'll be enough to just one-punch that Floette. And then his last move on King Gambit, I landed on Protect. I decided on Protect here because I figured, yeah, he is an endgame closer here to sweep. I could have went for Low Kick to deal with like other King Gambits and stuff, but I decided on Protect because I figured if I get into a situation of like some sort of Sucker Punch mind games and stuff, Protect will be very beneficial for an end game where we're stalling each other out. Now, that would be the core 4 to this team. I have Hydrapple as my main bulk guy. He's my wall. He's going to pivot in and out when we need to and just be annoying. We've got Incineroar here who's going to cycle our Intimidates, give off our parting shots, and just help the whole team's overall bulk by cycling in and off the field. When I want my speed control, I'm going to rely on Trick Room with Farigiraf, and then Farigiraf's just going to be overall supporting, damaging with the helping hand and just trying to help us sweep out while we have the speed control. And lastly, with our core 4, we have King Gambit. King Gambit being our closer. He's going to come in and hopefully just sweep out everything when we need to. And ideally, we'll pull King Gambit into the battle when we have Trick Room still on the field. Because ideally, we want him to be able to take out something fast that hits hard. Now with those 4 locked in, I started thinking, okay, I got some decent speed control. I do have a closer. I got some good bulk, but now it's like I still need something that can still do some damage, but I also still want some sort of speed control because the thing I'm thinking about is, what if I don't always want to run Trick Room? So while I start looking at the current roster of Pokemon, I'm looking around, and I'm thinking, okay, what's going to still give me more speed control? Maybe something like Syrup Bomb on Hydrapple, right? But he can't be too squishy, but he also can't be too slow. That led me leading into Rotom Wash. Rotom Wash isn't necessarily the fastest Pokemon, but he does sit at 106 speed, which is decent, especially in this meta. Yeah, there's a lot of things that are faster, but there's also a lot that's slower. And then when you start looking at Rotom's move pool, you got something like Electro Web. Electro Web is great because Electro Web is a spread move, so it'll hit both the opposing Pokemon and it will slow them down as well. So this gives us more speed control, which could help us without needing to rely so much on the Trick Room aspect, especially for like King Gambit and Incineroar. Now, looking at Rotom here, because he is going to be doing quite a bit of damage for us as well. We don't need a bunch of support Pokemon left on this team. I decided now to Hydro Pump. Hydro Pump is just great stab move for him to have. It'll help us deal with opposing fire types, rock types, ground types, which we have a glaring weakness to ground type Pokemon. Overall, Hydro Pump, great move to have. Another move I locked in, Volt Switch. Volt Switch because the whole core concept to this team, we want to be pivoting in and off the field as much as possible. So having Volt Switch just allows Rotom as well to pivot in and off the field, which could benefit us quite crucially. The last move I decided to lock in, Will-O-Wisp. I locked in Will-O-Wisp because Will-O-Wisp is not only going to provide chip damage to opposing Pokemon with the burns, but it also reduces their attack, further increasing Hydrapple's bulk, Rotom's bulk, just everybody's physical bulk, because we've essentially now cut the opposing Pokemon's attack in half every time we burn them. Now, for a held item, I went with Expert Belt. I figured Expert Belt was the best current held item in this current meta for champions, because Expert Belt will not only boost our electric moves if we're hitting like the water or flying type, but mainly because it's going to boost Hydro Pump when we hit those ground types. Ground types are probably one of the biggest threats for the team, so I needed something that would reliably be able to at least somewhat counter them, and the ground types can't hurt Rotom because of his ability Levitate, so he just kind of fit the role overall well. So with these 5 locked in, the last slot I had, I was like, okay, I need a Mega Pokemon now. And now when I was looking at Mega Pokemon, one of the first ones I actually was looking at was Mega Dragalge, because Mega Dragalge has the ability Regenerator. He's decently bulky. He can work in Trick Room. He was actually starting to look like a Pokemon that could fit this team very well. And we may end up tweaking and adding him to this team later on down the road. Anyways, I decided instead, because I don't want to constantly have to rely on Trick Room, because then that basically means Farigiraf has to come to every single match, and I don't want to always have to do that. People will most likely in the preview as well be able to tell, like, this is just a straight Trick Room team, and a lot of people are able to counter the Trick Room. So because of that, I decided, okay, maybe my Mega Pokemon should be just a standalone Pokemon who has good speed and can just have great damage output. Somebody who can just come in and just sweep on the field for me. So with that in mind, I started looking at Megas that had best speed stats and either good physical or good special attack stats, because I wanted somebody who could sweep. Looking at all of the Megas, I started leaning heavily towards Manatrik. Now, Manatrik isn't a popular Pokemon, especially not a popular Mega, and I know that there is a lot more Megas that could beneficially benefit the team more. Even currently now, like Mega Raichu Y could maybe fit the team very well with a high special attack and high speed stat as well, with the ability No Guard, helping those Zap Cannons and Focus Blast hit. Raichu Y could also fit in this slot too. And Raichu Y, just like Mega Dragalge, is a thought that I have in the back of my head that may get added into the team later on and adapted. But the main reason I ended up deciding on Manatrik was because of his ability when he Mega Evolves. When Manatrik Mega Evolves, he gains the ability Intimidate. And I just fell in love with that right there, because you combine the ability Intimidate with the move Volt Switch, and now you have another pivot Pokemon who can not only pivot in and out of the field, but it's also going to Intimidate cycle, just like Incineroar, which is just amazing for this team. We are just built a team where essentially any physical attackers come onto the field, they're sneezing on us. They're not touching us. They can't do anything. So with that in mind, I was like, okay, awesome. Intimidate Cycler, Volt Switcher. He's got to hold the Mega Stone. Not the greatest Mega, but for this team, he might actually cook. And with the ability Lightning Rod, like, yeah, we don't have any glaring lightning weaknesses or anything right now, but with that ability, it could come in handy. We could be able to, like, redirect a lightning move if we had to before Mega Evolving, which could also benefit us in some way if somebody's going to try to hit us with like a Thunderbolt or a Raichu with a Zap Cannon. With all that in mind, though, now I was like, okay, so Manatrix here, he's going to Intimidate cycle when we need him to, but he's also here to like just take Pokemon out. Like if he's going to hit the field first turn, he's basically hitting the field to be a threat. So with that in mind, I was like, okay, Thunderbolt. Not only does Manitrick have great speed, but he has a great special attack stat. You give him Thunderbolt, he's pretty much always going to be sweeping things off the field. Yeah, there's some other electric moves that are a little bit stronger, but I didn't want to rely on something stronger with less accuracy, which is why I went Thunderbolt, because Thunderbolt is pretty much always guaranteed to hit. We don't need rain or anything like that. And we have the chance still to para, which could just be very beneficial too if we can get a para off. Now, for another move, I was going to lock in Flamethrower. The more I thought about it, I was like, hey, Flamethrower could help a lot, but what if Hydrapple wants to be soaking up more hits? I've already made it where the opponent's physical Pokemon can't really do much to me, but their special Pokemon still can, because all I really have for them is Parting Shot. And Hydrapple having 4 times weakness to Ice, and Ice Beam could just wreck him. So I started leaning into the move Snarl. I went with Snarl now here because Snarl is just a move where it'll hit both of the Pokemon at least for spread damage. Yeah, it's not the strongest move around, but it will at least lower their special attack as well, which is great because that's just going to help Hydrapple be that much more bulky, which is what we need. For the last move slot, it could have been Flamethrower here now too, but I figured, okay, because Manitrick is actually pretty frail and his whole job is just to be like a special sweeper, the opponent may want to focus some of their resources on Manitrick instead of Hydrapple. So because of that fact, I was like, okay, Manitrick is also going to get Protect. Because let's say I can predict a double call where they're going to double target my Manitrick. If I can call that with a Protect, that will give his partner on the field a free turn to at least get some chip damage off, which could help Manitrick the next turn now take them out with even like a Volt Switch or a Snarl. So with all that in mind, I had the Core 6 locked down into the team, and looking at it, I was pretty happy with it. It's not conventionally the strongest team around for sure, and a lot of these meta teams I'm sure are going to be able to sweep it out, but that's not the point to it. The point to this team was something that was going to be fun, something where we can pivot in and out, kind of experiment with a few different Pokemon, and overall, we just want to annoy the opponent. That's the whole goal with this team. We want them just sitting there, just getting annoyed, being like, bro, it's still going on. Come on. Like, that's how we win the game, by annoying them so they start making bad calls when they're in bad positions. Combine all that with the chip damage we're going to get, the stat drops we're going to be doing, and even somebody like Hydrapple just sitting there with some Giga Drains and Dragon Pulses could clean up the game for us. So with the whole team in mind and everything we're looking at, we're going to go and we're going to jump into some battles. All right, looking at what we got here. Who are we up against? Lucario, Greninja, Sneasler. Okay, so that's going to be a Mega Raichu for sure, or a Mega Staraptor probably, because those have been a lot of the meta lately. Everybody likes that contrary Staraptor. Okay, well, his team is very fast, so I definitely am going to want to lean heavy into the Trick Room here. I definitely want to lean into Trick Room. Gonna have to block some priority. Since I'm going hard Trick Room, I think we're gonna run just the Core 4, since it has to be a hard Trick Room this game. Yeah, we want to get that Trick Room up. Probably pull Hydrapple in too to start being a nuisance. Really, what I want to see come out first is the Sneasler and probably the Raichu. Because if I can force that Raichu out with a Parting Shot even and stuff, like just drop his stuff right at the beginning, that gives us a very good advantage. And they are taking forever to pick their team. Yeah, they took forever. right. Okay, so we definitely want to get a trick room going right now to flip the speed. And we want to fake out, I believe, the Greninja. Lucario can probably one punch me though. He has inner focus anyway, so yeah, let's fake out the Greninja. Okay. Let's see, do I take one? I do. I take it pretty well. I know I can take one more, but I probably won't have to because now we're gonna helping hand our Incend because that's what we have helping hand for, and we're gonna flare blitz the Lucario because we want to take the Lucario out pretty much. Yeah, buddy. This should be a one shot. Boom, that's what we like to see. Yeah, I didn't do any of my Intimidate cycling or anything, but getting rid of that Lucario was important. Not bad. Now I can probably parting shot that Greninja. Depends who he brings in next. If he brings in the Raichu, I'm parting shotting on the Raichu. Sneasler. Well, you can't fake out because of my armor tail. So, to be honest, I think we just psychic on you, and then we're going to parting shot over here. I think that's our best play right now. That's a one shot. There we go. Farigiraf is putting in some work, buddy. So we made Greninja a lot weaker, and now we're going to pull in the Hydrapple. Now we pull in our wall. I love Hydrapple's design. Such a sick Pokemon. So now we're going to see his last one. There's the Raichu. So this is where he's going to come to clean up with that Mega Raichu. So now we want to... You know what? We got to double target, I think, the Raichu right now. Psychic him and Dragon Pulse. That's what we want to do. We want to double target that Raichu because this is our last turn of Trick Room. We don't want to let that Raichu sweep us. Okay, we just gotta hope the Psychic cleans up. It did. There we go. That's all we needed. The crit might have mattered. The crit might have mattered. But that's what we needed right there. That is what we needed. And now we finish it up. We helping hand. Oh, he's going to surrender. What I would have done was helping hand and just a Giga Drain, and that would have just cleaned up the rest of the match anyway. But there we go. That's one match done. Nice quick little victory. Trick Room pulled through for us. All right. So for this one, this team doesn't look too bad for me. I don't need hard Trick Room either. You know what? I'm going to lead this. Hydrapple and Kingambit in the back. I'm going to try to get some double Intimidate cycling off here. Even though his team is probably mostly special, I could still cycle a little bit of the Intimidates at least. Alright, Lucario and Sylveon. Sylveon. So we want to fake out the Sylveon, I think, this turn. Right? Fake out the Sylveon. And we're going to Mega Evolve to get another Intimidate off. And then we're going to Volt Switch. No, and then we're going to, yeah, then we're going to Volt Switch out. We're going to put some chip into him. That's what we're going to do. Because then the Flare Blitz recoil will be less when we go to hit the Lucario. But that's what we're going to do. We get another Intimidate off, which benefits us pretty nicely. Nice. That did good damage to that Lucario. Okay, so who do I switch to now? Probably Hydrapple. Put my wall out. Nice. I avoided the attack and Sylveon flinched. Perfect. Okay, so now we want to Parting Shot the Sylveon. And we want to protect because I feel like Sylveon's going to hit Hydrapple here. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to scout this turn. That's fine. I eat that for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Parting Shot, weaken that Sylveon. Because basically I'm trying to force that Sylveon into switching out now. And now I bring Manitrick back out to get another Intimidate off. And I protected. That's why I did that, because I figured Sylveon was going to go there. So now I think I want to Thunderbolt into the Sylveon. And we're going to Syrup Bomb into Lucario for now. It's not very effective, though. You know what I could do, actually? We're going to take a bit of a risk here. We're going to Volt Switch into the Lucario again, because that should take it out, and we're going to Syrup Bomb the Sylveon to slow it down. That's what we're going for here. So there goes the Lucario. Bye-bye, Lucario. Good night. Now I pull him back, and I'll send Incineroar back out. Yeah, I'll send Incineroar back out. Don't let him know what my fourth one is yet. Let him keep wondering. Psych up, that's fine. Lowers Sylveon's speed. That's what we wanted. Oh, he's got a Mana Trick too. So you know what I have to do? I have to fake out the Mana Trick this turn. I gotta fake out the Mana Trick this turn. And then I gotta Syrup Bomb it. I gotta slow it down so that mine's gonna be faster. That's what I gotta do. Oh, he didn't Mega? So who does he have in the back? I'm surprised you didn't hit Hydrapple, not gonna lie. But I got two beefy boys on the field, Sylveon, and your stats are lowered a little too much to do anything. So now I'm going to Parting Shot into the Mana Trick, and we're going to protect to stall, I guess, right? We might as well. Might as well stall out another turn. Nice job, Incineroar, avoiding the attack. I like it. Okay, so Mana Trick really can't do much now either, especially now when we pull my Mana Trick back out. I've just made that Mana Trick unable to hit anything. That's the beauty about the intimidating cycling. When they have a physical attacker, it just nerfs them. And this Syrup Bomb is good to have too every turn, slowing them down. Okay, but now he's going to absorb my electric move, so I'm going to Snarl and hit them both. And then I'm going to Giga Drain into the Sylveon. That's what we're going to do this turn. Lower their special attacks. Oh, there goes the Mana Trick. Critical hit. That's how we do here. There goes the special attack drop. Giga Drain. There we go. We should eat a Moonblast. Oh, it's on Mana Trick. We definitely eat a Moonblast. Okay, so it's going to Mega Evolve the Victory Bell for sure. So we are going to Thunderbolt into the Victory Bell. And we are going to Giga Drain into the Sylveon to try to take care of that Sylveon. And we're going to hope that this does some magic for us. You didn't Mega anything? Okay, Sylveon's done next turn. Alright, let's see. How do we eat a Dazzling? Oh, we eat it so well. We ate that so well. So yeah, we're basically able to clean up here now. We're just going to go for a Snarl just to take out that Sylveon mainly, and then we can put a Dragon Pulse directly into the Victory Bell. Worst case, even if they were to manage to knock somebody out, Ensign would just, oh, Sylveon avoided it, so they might, but Ensign just will come in and clean up. We probably don't even need to pull in King Gambit to close. Nice, there goes the Victory Bell. Done like dinner. Just Sylveon's left. Be easy enough for us to clean it up. So we will Volt Switch into the Sylveon, and we will Giga Drain. And that's this game. That's another one for the books, ladies and gents. So that one we got to see a little bit of Intimidate cycling at least, which was nice. Got to see a little bit of Hydrapple's bulk too. Alrighty. This is a little bit of a slower team for sure. So they're gonna want my Trick Room most likely. They got a lot of physical hitters too, actually. So this is gonna be good for the Intimidate cycling for sure. King Gambit's gonna have a hard time here with 3 fire types on that team. I think I'd be better off pulling in Rotom Wash here. And yeah, Rotom Wash and Hydrapple is what we're gonna do for this one. That's the team rotation we're gonna bring into this preview, because Trick Room kind of benefits them if they're gonna bring all their slower ones. And looking at my preview, they might, because you can tell I'm a slower team. Yeah, see, came out a little slower. But that's okay, because I'm gonna get the Intimidate off, which is gonna weaken the Golaric right away. Okay, the Dragonite had a White Herb, which is good though because that's going to mess up whatever strat he had in mind. Now, we want to fake out the Dragonite because we want to break the multi-scale, and then we are going to Mega Evolve and Snarl to lower both their special attacks as well. Because this way now we're at least making both of these guys weak enough that he either has to switch them out or he's not going to do much to Hydrapple, which is what we want right now. So we got another Intimidate off, got the Fake Out off, broke the multi-scale. Now we get the Snarl off. Good show. Both their special attacks drop. Dragonite flinches. And Golaric uses Earthquake. Ooh, that might one-shot Mana Trick. It might. I am so surprised Mana Trick took that. I actually cannot believe Mana Trick took that. We got a Parting Shot him to lower that Earthquake down some more, and we got a Volt Switch into the Dragonite so that we can swap him out. We're gonna have to bring Hydrapple in here. Hydrapple can eat an earthquake. So yeah, let's swap out. Boom. You go back so that we can get Hydrapple in here. Oh, actually, I could also run this because Levitate's gonna avoid that. No, but you know what? We want Hydrapple, I think, for now, coming in. We want Hydrapple coming in. Who's he hitting? Okay, that's good. We eat our citrus. Special severely fell. No white herb. That makes the Dragonite. The Dragonite's gonna have to pivot out. He might have to pivot with both. Honestly, he can't do much now. He really, really can't. Do I let Mana Trick go down and get another Intimidate off to weaken that Golurk even more? I will survive if I get another Intimidate off. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. Because that just makes that Golurk useless. They both can't do any damage now. Yeah. That Earthquake is not gonna do much now. I survive one still. Oh, I don't. Why? Why Shockwave? Oh, because it was a crit. If it wasn't for the crit, got a crit on point. That was a crit on Hydrapple. That was a crit on Hydrapple too. So Hydrapple's doing exactly what he needs to do. So now we pull in our Rotom Wash. That's what we're doing for now. We got to leave Incin in the back in case we need a fake out for later. Okay, so we want to Hydro Pump into the Golurk, and we want to Dragon Pulse into the Dragonite. Let's see what happens. Ice Beam, we take that because he's weak. Yeah, we take that because he's weak. Even out of ×4. Hydro Pump should take him out. There goes the Golurk, and then we should take out Dragonite here too. So we're down 1, but he's down 2, which is pretty good. Not bad. Now let's see what his last 2 are going to be. All right. So now we're going to... I think we want to Electro Web to try to slow them both down for now. And then we're going to Protect with Hydrapple this turn. We're going to do a little bit of scouting. Try to slow him down a little bit. And then Cerulege, I can never say his name right. He's going to be the one that we target first, I think. Ooh, not good. Okay, so I feel like he's going to hit Rotom, right? I feel like that Phantom Force is probably coming at Rotom too, but there's not much I'm going to be able to do for that right now. I'm going to have to hope for the best. Put a Hydro Pump into there and put a Dragon Pulse into here. And then let's see what happens. You hit Hydrapple. I'm actually surprised that you went for Hydrapple and not Rotom. And that was a crit, bro. Hydrapple is Bulk City. Bulk City. And if we had King Gambit, the Sucker Punch would clean him up. Not having King Gambit could be devastating for us now. Because we lose Rotom here. But you know what? We get the Intimidate cycle off. We do. We get an Intimidate cycle off. I feel like he's going to Phantom Force again. Because why wouldn't he? So we're getting an Intimidate off. But I only have Flare Blitz, which doesn't do nothing to either of them. I can't fake out either of them either, because they're both ghosts, right? Oh no, Armor Rush? I can fake out Armor Rush, apparently. Okay. So let's fake out Armorage then. And let's Dragon Pulse the Armorage and try to take it out. Because he's going to Phantom Force. I'm predicting that. Phantom Force. I am predicting a Phantom Force. Oh, a Shadow Sneak. Can I take one? I do. I take one still. Oh my god. But I... No, wait. Do we get the Armorage? Because if we get the Armorage here, oh, we might take it back. Hydrapple's Bulk City, buddy. Bulk City. Bulky boy. Here we go. Now we want to... We're going to have to Flare Blitz him this turn, and we're going to have to protect. Because he's going to Shadow Sneak again, right? He's going to Shadow Sneak again. Bitter Blade. Good thing I protected. He's trying to get his health back. Ah, Flash Fire. I was worried that was going to be the ability. So, I can't hit him with Incineroar. That's the problem. Can I Parting Shot? We got to try for a double protect. We got to hope for a double protect right now. We got to hope the double protect works. Oh, it didn't go through. If we had the double protect, we may have been okay. He bitter bladed my Incin? That's wild. Okay, wait. Because Parting Shot, we just Parting Shot him again next turn. We might be okay. We might be okay. It's going to be very, very close. It's going to be very, very close. We got a Parting Shot again. And now we got a Dragon Pulse. Do we take a Bitter Blade? We took a Bitter Blade with Hydrapple. That's all we needed to do right now. Because we can protect next turn. Yeah, we got to just protect next turn. That crit helps us. That crit helps us. If we protect next turn, get a little bit of health back, we should be able to take another hit. So we just go here, fight, protect. That Parting Shot might make the difference with the protect. That's all we got to hope for. Doesn't kill me. And it won't get you enough health back, I don't think. Yeah, it shouldn't. Shouldn't. We should be able to take another hit still here. The leftover should get us up enough that we should take a hit. We should. We got a Parting Shot again. It's our only hope. Parting Shot and a Dragon Pulse. And just hope for the best. We should take one Bitter Blade now with all those Parting Shots. No, it was so close. So close. Not much we can do now. We'll have to surrender. Whoops, we'll have to surrender now. Incin can't finish him off. That was a good match. It was close. It was close. Okay, so a little bit of a mixed team here for sure. They are definitely on the physical side, so we are going to Intimidate Cycle again. We don't really need to rely on Trick Room. We are going to want King Gambit in the back this time. The question is, do I run Hydrapple or do I run Rotom Wash? Probably Hydrapple here. So back with the core 4. Well, almost the core 4. We're not using Farigiraf, we're using Mana Trick this time. But we're going to double Intimidate Cycle and see how some things go. Okay, so he's starting with his King Gambit. Would not be a lead I would have thought of, honestly, having your King Gambit come out first. But whatever. King Gambit is exerting its pressure. Alright. So we want to probably fake out the King Gambit this turn. And we're going to Mega Evolve, and we're going to Volt Switch the Altaria. We're going to swap out. And we're going to bring our Hydrapple in to deal with that Altaria. Unless the Altaria megas, but I don't think they will. Good damage on Altaria. Very good. A Thunderbolt should be in range to take it out now. But we're going to pull Hydrapple in first. Ooh, Pluck hurts a little bit. But I don't have a berry on Hydrapple, so that's okay. Now, the question is, I think we want to Flare Blitz the King Gambit this turn, honestly, to try to get rid of that King Gambit. And then, or you know what? I could just Parting Shot into the Altaria and protect with Poison Apple. Yeah, let's weaken that and let's protect this turn. Because we can bring our Mana Trick back out, Intimidate again, and we should be in range to Thunderbolt that Altaria. Should be. I eat that. Now, King Gambit's probably going to want to go for a fighting move if he was going to target him. But Shockwave should be able to eat that. Shockwave will eat it. Okay, not bad. Get a little bit of health back. Back up to full. Okay, so now Thunderbolt should be in range for Altaria. And we're going to Syrup Bomb the King Gambit, I think. Just to make sure it really has nothing it can do. If he's not going to pivot out, he's going to be useless for him, which is good for us. I mean, Scary Face on Hydrapple matters nothing when Hydrapple's speed is only at 44, but that's cool. Oh, we missed our Syrup Bomb. That's unfortunate. Okay, Arcanine. Arcanine with Intimidate. What do we want to do here? I think we want to Volt Switch the Arcanine and bring our Incin back, right? We want to Volt Switch into you. And we want to Syrup Bomb into you, honestly. We want to slow you right down. And he's in range of a Thunderbolt now too, which is nice, but it won't get that far. It will not. Another Intimidate out. That King Gambit's like -3, I think, now. Flamethrower into my Incin. Not a good read on his part. Yeah, Assurance isn't going to do much to my Hydrapple. He's a bulky boy. Okay, so that Arcanine's going to be slowed down. And now I think we're just going to Parting Shot that King Gambit because we're going to be able to deal with this Arcanine super easily now. I'm pretty sure that Arcanine's even in range for Hydrapple, so we're going to Parting Shot the King Gambit, and we're going to Dragon Pulse into the Arcanine. Because I'm pretty sure that's range for Hydrapple already. So now we pull out our another Intimidator. We haven't used King Gambit to close. That last match would have been nice for King Gambit, but... Raises his speed back up, but not going to help you much when Syrup Bomb's going to low. Ooh! Crit on my Mana Trick. That could turn the tables. Okay. Beneficial, though, because the Arcanine's out, so we both took one that turn. It's not terrible. So he's on his last one. I bring out my Incin again. That's what I do. So I should probably... Ooh, I'll fake out the Heracross, right? King Gambit's already all the way low. Poor King Gambit. Okay, let's fake out the Heracross. Let's Syrup Bomb. It's not that effective. Neither of them are, though. So yeah, let's Syrup Bomb into the King Gambit to make it slower. That'll be a little more beneficial for now. At least we're slowing it down. Heracross is a fast boy. Oh yeah, there we go. King Gambit's going to be nice and slow. Now we want to hit a Syrup Bomb on that Heracross, to be honest. We really, really do. And just hope that that Heracross doesn't knock out our Ensign. He shouldn't, because Ensign's pretty bulky too. So now we're going to Parting Shot the Heracross. And we're going to actually Dragon Pulse the Heracross, because we're going to see what we can do with a Dragon Pulse. Seismic Toss? Hmm. I guess it's good against Hydrapple. You get the guaranteed damage at least. Bypasses all my bulk, but not something I would run. Well, King Gambit gets to come onto the field, ladies and gentlemen. Gaining strength from the Fallen. Yikes. That King Gambit just cannot do nothing. So now I am going to. I think I'm going to Sucker Punch. No, I'll Iron Head the Heracross because Heracross isn't going to be able to do much. We'll double target Heracross this turn. King Gambit's a non-issue. He should have pivoted out with his King Gambit when he had a chance. Rough. That's rough for him. Rough, rough, rough deals. So now what I could do, I'll pivot out with Hydrapple this turn to bring Ensign back, even though the Intimidate's not going to do much for us. And then King Gambit will just go for a. You know what, King Gambit actually, just because we're going to be having some fun here, we're going to Protect here, and we're going to switch back to Ensign. Just to have a little fun with it. Just to have a little fun. Oh, you did hit the Ensign. I'm actually surprised you went for Ensign. But it won't make a difference for you anyway, bro. So now we're going to Sucker Punch, even though it's not very effective. Take over that priority, and then we're going to Flare Blitz to clean up the game. Because Flare Blitz should be an easy one-shot. Oof, even Sucker Punch did quite a good amount of damage. Even Sucker Punch did a good amount. But yeah, that's the gist of this team. Not one of the best for sure, not one of the strongest, but it's definitely fun. It's really fun watching Hydrapple just eat up those hits too, man. Like when you get enough Intimidate cycles off and stuff, or some Parting Shots off, man, Hydrapple literally just sits there. Leech Seed would have been a much better move to have on him too, for sure, like guaranteed, but hey, beggars can't be choosers.